Good morning, everyone. Let's get over to the pre-market. Looking at crude oil, we had some reaction at a low volume node that I identified from the volume profile. And also this low volume node reaction left some buy zones with imbalances to the upside, which could act as a potential support if we test this area again. Right now, we're facing some resistance at a sell zone that I identified out of yesterday's session. But this has been tested already twice, so I would be careful shorting this area. I would prefer that they trade further up to the low volume node around 60.74 to the ledge at 60.93. This is where I expect some resistance to occur. If we trade above, then I want to see that they trade and trade above the sell zone that is between 61 and 61.30 to trade through this upper distribution up to the upper ledge at around 62.38. So that's for crude. Let's get over to gold. Gold had some reaction at the low volume area that we have here. I have reduced the whole area to 93.21 to 39.30, 39.21, sorry. And I see that we are developing a ledge that could be a support at around 39.54, and the upper side of the ledge is around 41.66. As we're trading above 4,000, and I have a low volume node around 4,015, which is a support to trade in this upper distribution. Also, I see some buy imbalances as well as buy zones on the up move. I personally see potential that we trade up to 40.70, where is a sell zone coming from one of the previous sessions. And as you see here in the volume profile, we have also some kind of a low volume node, but I did not highlight it because I have a sell zone here from the market profile. So that's for gold. Looking at the S&P, we had an interesting day yesterday, same as in Nasdaq. So we balanced off more or less in the Globex session, while the S&P could not take out the Globex high at the open. So we balanced off, had a distribution at the lower side, and then we had a buy to the upside, taking out the Globex high and balancing off, finally closing the positions around POC. So the S&P looks balanced while they take out the overnight, the RTH high in the overnight session, with some buy zones at 69.27 to 69.29, and also at 69.36 to 69.39. So these are my buy zones that I would trade on a pullback. If we trade lower, then I would be careful at the Globex low, as well as a swing low at 69.21, because these could be taken out to trade lower through the RTH value area. On the volume by price, I see a low volume node around 6900 to 6902, which is also a buy zone that was identified for the yesterday session and is right underneath previous days RTH low and Globex low. So it's the daily candles low. So this could be a good support if they trade down here. Let's see what the S&P will do. Looking at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, basically the same happened yesterday, except that the Nasdaq took out the Globex high, balanced. We had a buy zone that was generated right before the open, where we got some buyers coming in, and those buyers in the RTH session created also another buy zone, which is basically from the RTH session low, right underneath the POC of the RTH session. So if we trade lower today, then I would be looking for some buyers coming in after they test the RTH POC, which is also right next to the RTH openness of yesterday. On the way down, I would pay attention to a low volume area, which you can see also highlighted with a single print. So they overlap. It's around 2688 to 26103. Let me enlarge this a little bit. 105. So this low volume area, I would watch this to be taken out so they trade lower if you're in a short. Looking at the Globex session, right after the opening, after some consolidation, we got an impulse taking out the previous day's RTH session high, generating a buy zone at 63.72 to 26.172 to 26.182. Sorry. So this is an area where I would look for buyers. It's with the Globex open, so it's a point of interest. Looking at the previous day's RTH high, we had a pullback there, so could have been a potential long during this Globex session, which also then generated a buy zone on the up move between 26.245 to 26.255. Right now, the Nasdaq is testing a sell zone, which I would not trade any longer, to be honest, looking at the previous days, but we never know what's going to happen today. So we are right now at a sell zone, which is also next to the European Open, or basically overlapping with the European Open. So I would be careful with a long in this area. I wouldn't long this area anyway. So going into the RTH session, most likely I will take out this sell zone and make it invalid because they have been testing it already. And to be honest, tested once, I delete my zones. So looking into today, we have the rate decision coming in. So pay attention to this. Definitely some volatility to be expected. And also, let me take a quick peek at the earnings. We have Microsoft, Google, and Meta reporting today. So also some volatility. They report after close. Good luck today. Take care.